Movements and Movement Code, bringing you your Movement Mondays. We're talking about front of shoulder pain with push-ups and pressing. So where we're describing this is like a common symptom, like where someone kind of draws right on the front side here. It might be a little bit on the top too, but they're having pain in this area with push-ups, bench press, pressing type of motions, whether that be a horizontal press or even sometimes a vertical press. We're going to address more so the concept of like a horizontal press here, but the concepts still apply for what we're trying to go here. It's just a little bit different directed. But more importantly, what we're trying to just show you is the anatomy of the shoulder, giving you a rough depiction of what is actually happening and why this might be causing, and just some quick fixes that can happen, okay? So the shoulder here, the blue here is roughly just a easy representation of like what a rotator cuff muscle might look on the backside. More importantly, we're looking at the scapula and the humerus and the relationship of the sides. Oftentimes we refer to the shoulder as a ball and socket joint, and many of us think that ball and socket is completely kind of encapsulating or surrounding it. The relationship of the shoulder and the shoulder blade, or the glenoid, or the scapula, is more or less like a golf ball and a golf tee. So the surface area is not as great as we think it might be, which is very beneficial and advantageous though, because that gives us all of this wonderful range of motion in a lot of different planes. Super advantageous. But the need for control while doing certain movements then goes up. Now we do have a labrum, which creates a little bit more of a lip, so that kind of helps keep it in place, but we still have free range of motion with that humerus. So if we're looking kind of down the arm of the humerus, what can happen is that shoulder or the upper arm can translate up, down, back, and forward. So when we're doing push-ups, what we see, especially with pain on the front of the shoulder, is commonly that shoulder is dipping or dropping too far forward, and that creates a lot of pressure, tension, or even kind of like this stretch on those structures on the front, which are maybe not accustomed to that. So it's not that we're necessarily creating tissue damage, but we're loading it in an improper way, and that's what's creating just some angry tissues. So we're actually going to drop down, and I'm going to try to get this stuff out of the way so you can see, and we're just going to kind of do a rough little demonstration here on some of the things that happen. So when we're in this push-up position, okay, and I'm gonna exaggerate this a little bit so you guys can see it all, but when going down into a push-up position, what we're seeing at the bottom is, instead of this nice packed back shoulder position, this drops forward here. Okay, this can be seen if I was literally on my back and I'm doing bench press or something very similar. Right now in doing this, I feel this tremendous stretch on the front side. So bicep tendon, anterior capsule, different parts of the shoulder on the front here are actually getting loaded and stretched as opposed to if I'm here. This is a much better stacked position. So that's why commonly coaches will talk about screwing in, creating this external rotation to help stabilize that shoulder. But what I try to encourage people to use is actually a little bit more of your back when actually doing these push-ups. So when you're coming down, you're actually using your back to help pull and maintain a good shoulder position so that you can press up and down without that collapse forward. Okay. Now, again, this is just one example and representation of what we believe might be happening with this front of the shoulder pain with these pressing motions. So, but it's worth giving it a try, especially if you're doing CrossFit, boot camp types of things where you're doing a lot of volume in that horizontal position. Just work on packing that shoulder back and preventing that dip from happening. And oftentimes that'll save you a lot of headache and pain and prevent this front of shoulder pain from happening. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot us a message, tag someone who you know has some shoulder pain, and share it on your page if you think it might be beneficial for someone else. Thanks, guys.